What's your favorite Frank Gore moment? Considering his career may be over.
I think the loudest I ever yelled and was happy when Frank Gore had the ball was that crossfield Kaepernick throw. That was to Frank Gore on the other side of the field, correct, at Levi's.
Mm-hmm.
And that play and then that Seattle game at Candlestick where he had the 2 long runs, those were my 2 favorite Frank Gore moments.
Yeah, I think ironically for me, I hate to bring this up, guys, but the most memorable Frank Gore moment would be a moment that didn't happen would be him not getting the ball against the Ravens in the Super Bowl when they were at the goal line and we kept throwing fades to Michael Crabtree. That's memorable. Of course, not a happy moment. I'd have to say kind of underrated moments would be that game against the Saints, the catch 2 where Vernon Davis had the big catch and Alex Smith had the naked bootleg that everybody talks about. Gore had some big timely runs in that game, picking up some key first downs throughout the game. And I think nobody recognizes that because of the other 2 standout plays in that game.
I'm going to go with the NFC Championship game at the end of the 2012 season. His 2 touchdowns late in the game to basically put the 49ers ahead. I think there was one in the third quarter, another one in the fourth quarter. Those would be my 2, stud guy that had a couple of great moments to get us in the championship game.
You're talking about in Atlanta, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I was at that game, and I was going to go with the Atlanta game too, not during the game, but after it. His press conference after the Atlanta game, it was my second season covering the team. I'd been around Frank Gore for 2 full seasons, and he was one of the veteran leaders on the team. I think he was probably 28, maybe 30 at the time. Him, Justin Smith, Patrick Williams kind of set the tone of the team, and their whole attitude every day was, I don't want to talk to the media. We're a bunch of tough guys who don't want fame. Like, leave us alone and let us play football. And it was cool. It was the attitude of the team. When Frank Gore would talk to us midweek, he would talk real quiet. He wouldn't make eye contact. He would make it look like, this isn't what I want to do. I'm a player. And after that game, he used to have this scowl on his face. It was cool. It was like a boxer. He was like 8 years old. He was so happy. He answered every question. He brought, I think, Colin Kaepernick up on the podium as well. I'd never seen Frank Gore be so happy and so vulnerable and so open. And you can see like it was the best day of his life. And he was assuming that he was going to go on and win the Super Bowl. And he didn't realize that that was actually the pinnacle of his career in terms of team. That was it that day. He wasn't going to get any closer. And I don't think he probably ever had more joy in the NFL than that day. And I was 10 feet away from him. I remember thinking, wow, this is a Frank Gore I've never met, and good for him. So I would always remember that.
The other
also, Justin Smith came out right after him, and Justin Smith was just as happy, just as talkative. I was like, I've never heard you say a word before. It was really interesting to see grown men be that joyous, like they're like at a birthday party. It was great. Anyway, what were you saying?
The other Frank Gore moment I remember is so the last game at Candlestick, I think he had the rushing touchdown before the Bowman pick, and I wanted Gore to be the last touchdown at Candlestick because I thought that was a really fitting moment. Is like the 49er legend would be the last score, and then Atlanta's driving down and is possibly going to win the game and spoil the history of Candlestick or the finale there. And then Bowman got it, and I thought that was a nice consolation prize to Frank Gore getting the last touchdown. But I remember thinking that in the crowd being like, Frank Gore should get this last touchdown. He deserves it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I hope Frank Gore has one more season in him. It's a cool story, and it'd be nice if he ended his career as the all-time leading rusher in the NFL. He'd be pretty cool.